This year we had an extended wet season. We had very limited time for flying, but we finally got a chance in early March, and after looking at various places we could go, we settled on Bluewater Air Park. Bluewater is just northwest of Townsville, about 120 nautical miles southeast of our home base in Atherton. It turned out to be quite a complicated story in getting permission to go there because it's a private airstrip. But once I found their website and spoke to the airfield owner and manager, we were able to organise permission to go to land there for lunch. Despite having a 4-seat Jabiru, I rarely fly with anyone in the back 2 seats, and I really don't fly with anyone in the second seat very much as well. But on this occasion, my good flying buddy Martin came with me and left his Jabiru behind, and we headed off a bit before the rest of the crowd. After passing Innisfail, we turned south and followed the coast, and it wasn't long before we were passing the coastal townships of Cardwell and then Lucinda, heading down toward Bluewater Park. Even though Cairns and Atherton are both in a very wet part of North Queensland, this year Townsville suffered far more badly from heavy rain and flooding. Only a week or two before our flight, the area north of Townsville had been subjected to very heavy rain and lots of flooding. There were a lot of landslides that were evident on the hills as we flew past. Bluewater is on the inland side of the coastal plain, tucked up almost against the mountain range. In the past it's been a very active general aviation airport, but it seems to have declined over the last few years. Apparently a few companies in the military use the airstrip for training, but apart from that not much else happens here. The thing that does happen is that it's a very popular location for model aircraft flying, and part of the deal in going there was for us to fit in with the local model aircraft club, who just happened to have their main flying day on the day we were wanting to go in. I spoke to the airfield manager Ian on the phone, and he just advised me that we should make all the usual radio calls as we came in, and the guys on the ground would respond and give us advice as to the active runway, and we would need to be able to give them time to get their model aircraft out of the air so we could land safely. As it happened, when we did make the calls, we didn't hear anything back, and made the calls a few times, though we did manage to see some of the model aircraft landing and then being removed from the small artificial turf runway that they use in front of the clubhouse. So we worked out that they knew we were coming, and we came in to land. One of the things that Ian had told me was that we should use the grass on either side of the runway and not to use the bitumen runway itself. And when we landed and had a look at the runway and taxied along it, I realised why he had said to stay off it as far as landing goes. It was pretty rough and wasn't in the best of condition.
G'day, how are you?
Bit warm in there?
It is when you're got all the doors closed and taxiing. It's not bad when you're in the air,
Yeah.
but otherwise.
Yeah. You down? I'm Ian.
G'day Ian, I spoke to you on the phone.
Yeah.
And this is Martin.
Down Martin.
The model flying guys had a whole range of aircraft, from rotary wing, both helicopters and drones, through to piston-engined, propeller-driven aircraft, and a few jet aircraft as well. Ian was keen to show us a fixed wing that he can attach skydivers to, but it kept playing up and wanted to yaw off to the left all the time. When the aircraft is at altitude, remotely release the skydivers and then have a second person take over the control of the skydivers and remotely fly the skydivers to the ground. The skydivers have got canopies that are scale model accurate RAM type canopies, so they're very maneuverable and they're really quite realistic. But even though we didn't get to see the skydivers fly, we saw quite a lot of aircraft that were quite interesting, and we managed to get some lunch and sit around and enjoy the hospitality of the guys in the Model Flying Club. One of the things I found quite interesting was that more than half of the model aircraft pilots were also full-size aircraft pilots as well. One of them running an aviation company with a whole pile of helicopters and fixed wings, and most of the other guys having been previous commercial pilots. But as they say, all good things come to an end, and we eventually had to saddle up, organise ourselves and head on home again. The weather had been so bad for so long, we just got really lucky with this weather. The entire trip back has to be one of the most picturesque and enjoyable flights that we've had for a long, long time. It's hard to beat the scenery here on a good day. Things like flying over the 6-kilometre long jetty at Lucinda. And flying over Hinchinbrook Island. And then flying over Malander and the southern tablelands back to the familiar territory of home. And back to Atherton.